What's going on, guys? Today we have a T100 clear of a Garen's hold that I'm going to play for you all in a second. But before we get into that, I wanted to go over a couple of the minor build updates that I made since I last posted the build video the other day. I started playing around with the build a little more, but it didn't really feel as consistent as I wanted it to be. One of the biggest weaknesses of the build that I was noticing was that whenever you were fighting really dense packs of enemies, or enemies that were really spread out all over the place, there wasn't really an easy way to CC all of them, even with Manglers and Shared Misery, so you were just taking a lot more damage than you needed to take. Someone recommended to me that I try out the Decoy Heart again, and so I did, and let me tell you guys, this thing is pretty nuts now. I don't know what Blizzard did to this heart, but compared to last patch, it feels a lot more powerful than it used to. The taunt will just keep enemies off of you completely, and it actually synergizes very well with the barber since all of the enemies will collapse onto the decoy and it'll pretty much gather them up nicely for the big explosion. Needless to say, I am a very big fan of the heart now. So I started to see how I could build around the heart, and I think I ended up with something pretty solid and way more consistent than the build was before. So let me quickly go over some of the changes that I made to gear, skill, and the Paragon board. As far as gear goes, the only thing I really changed out was the boots and the gloves. So I swapped off Manglers and Shared Misery, and now we're just running Penitent and Shared Misery. I wanted to test out Frostbitten and the gloves, but I don't have a Frostbitten right now, so I'm just running Shared Misery, and to be honest, this feels pretty good. What this will do is just spread stuff that's chilled in your melee. It'll start spreading that around. It'll spread around the slow that you get from puncture, and that slow gives you DR. So it'll just start spreading that around, giving you more DR, as well as the daze that you get from smoke grenade and the knockdown that you get from poison trap. It'll spread all of those crowd controls around. So it's pretty good at giving you more crowd control uptime. And honestly, I don't think you really need frostbitten with the damage that I have now. I think it's pretty good. But if you do want to experiment with frostbitten, I would go ahead and try it. And as far as everything else goes for the gear, nothing else really changed besides the hearts. So now I'm running the DR heart and the taunt decoy heart and then the barber. I'm just not running the crit damage anymore. And to be honest, I don't feel like my damage has really fallen off that much without the crit damage heart. So I think this is pretty solid. And then nothing else has really changed as far as the aspects go. In the skill tree, not much has really changed either. I changed out all of this poison stuff here, mostly because like the poison imbuement, the poison damage is not really doing anything. And then this poison DR was kind of useless against like anything that was really far away from you and spread out, or like anything that just wasn't running to your trap. This was pretty much useless. I didn't feel like it was really that impactful, so we just got rid of all that. And then so instead I put all those points back into more damage and we are running smoke grenade now. This is a very nice ability and it synergizes very well with the decoy trap heart. So what you can do is like run into a pack and drop your poison trap and then you'll get the little decoy and then you just wait a little bit and then you throw a smoke grenade and then you'll get another decoy that'll taunt again and then you can kind of just chain that back into a poison trap if anything's still alive with another decoy. So you can literally get pretty close to like 100% uptime on that decoy, and that taunt that it does is just keeping everything off of you. So you'll notice that you can like literally just stand here and just start killing everything with no trouble at all. And it's actually like pretty insane. So I feel like this is a lot better now. And the damage is also a lot better. And then I think that's pretty much it. I did drop the Trap Mastery crit. I don't really feel like this was that great. Like it's helpful, but it's not that important. I'd rather just have like these extra points of consistent damage here. Um, and I would say that's pretty much it. I am running the Shadow Slip stun now. I think this is pretty helpful for just jumping on elites and killing them. So I played around with just using this all the time and it still feels pretty good. So I might just keep this. And then I do still like to take Rugged against some of the dot affixes. But to do that, so I'll just drop like 2 into Exploit and then go into Rugged. And then I think that's it. I probably would just leave Malice. You could probably just put 2 points into here and be fine. And Yeah, I think that's it for the skill tree changes. And then looking at the Paragon board, we did make a decent change. So on the cheap shot board, instead of going down to get all this DR, I instead went to the right to get all of this damage. With the taunt decoy heart, you're going to notice that you're taking quite a bit less damage. So since you're taking a lot less damage, you don't need as much DR anymore, and we can actually just go ahead and grab more damage to just kill stuff faster while they're taunted and CC'd. So we went over here and took more crowd control and critical strike to crowd control enemies. And you're going to notice stuff is dying a lot faster with this. And then I would say that's pretty much the biggest change that I made. All the glyphs are the same. I also did drop out this little bit of extra health, and I decided to just grab more damage because we're taking less damage. So grabbing more damage is just going to help us kill stuff faster while it's CC'd. And I think that's pretty much the highlight of the changes to the Paragon board. So I think the build is in a pretty solid spot now for patch 1.1.1. I wouldn't really expect too many more changes at this point. The only thing I think I could pretty much optimize is like dropping damage reduction somewhere to maybe grab a little more damage. But overall, I think the build is in a very solid spot and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. You guys shouldn't really have too many issues clearing your T100s with the build now. I'll be posting a commentary over one of my T100 runs soon, so I can kind of explain how the build plays now and explain what I'm trying to do throughout the dungeon. But for now, I'm just going to let the Garen's hold play, so do enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.